Suckers, you're listening to Luck at the Draw Radio with your hosts Todd Buggs and Stan Zig. So grab a beer, sit back, and listen to what the jackasses have to say.
All right, well, up next in the studio, I'd like to welcome lead singer from Radiohead, Tom York. How you doing today, Tom?
Today we've got a great guy in. One of my favorite bands, the Sex Pistols, Steve Jones, is here to talk with us tonight.
Well, it's an honor for me to introduce to you, and welcome to the studio, Les Paul. How are you today?
This is really exciting to help our 2009 New Year's party. We have all 4 original Beatles. Thanks for making it in, guys.
All right, our next guest has been a major influence on my musical career, and it's an honor to meet you for the first time. Henry Rollins, welcome to the studio.
Tonight we got a real different guest for us. It's not a musical guest. It is one of the WWF's finest, the Ultimate Warrior. Hey, put Bugs down.
Well, I'd like to welcome to the studio none other than rap hip-hop artist, great Chuck D from Public Enemy.
One of my big rock and roll, just vocal legends, guys. I really like. We got Lane Stanley talking with us tonight. Hello, Lane.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to welcome in, straight off of tour, Johnny Cash.
Look at the girls. Hey, Jill, do you ever do a blow off a clam? How does that work? Jesus Christ.
You ever done smack off a clit?
And the show takes the turn. This would be the Expressway to Hell portion of the broadcast.
Well, it would tie in to do this at the very end of the intro before the show starts. Because last show we talked about, don't show me Bush. Now we're getting into clits and clams.
Yep.
If you got any comments, insults, requests, you can call them at 530-618-2847 or email them at wewantbeer@gmail.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello, how are you? This is Luck of the Draw Radio. I am Stan Zing, and as always, my partner in crime here,
Todd Buggs. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Cool. Show number 3. How
Yes.
about that, huh?
That's right.
We're on a roll. 3 in a row.
Trying to steer clear of the football mania, which is sweeping the nation as we speak.
Yeah, funny thing, I'm such a sports fan. I didn't even know that today was Super Bowl Sunday until I went and did I was doing my pre-show prep for this show. And had to go to the liquor store to buy an 18-pack, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're going to the football party," and I'm like, I didn't even know what football was today. Like I say, I'm not much for sports. The only thing I knew was old Danica Patrick was doing her first NASCAR race today, I think it was. So
Danica Patrick, I haven't even heard of her.
She used to do F1. She's like 4'10", 100 pounds of just fistful of piss and vinegar.
Yes,
and
okay.
fury.
She throws helmets at people.
Yes. She's the one. She'll cuss them out while they're driving by and flip them off.
Yeah, I think I've seen some YouTube stuff of her.
Yeah, she's kind of a hottie too. It's kind of cool. I'll watch that.
I can get behind that.
So yeah, actually when I found out that it was Super Bowl Sunday, I was like, oh man, I hope old Stan isn't going to get interfered with the game and the show. But then I thought, you know what? I don't think he gives a shit about this the game.
I don't really. I always like a good Super Bowl party. Just to get around and drink and get rowdy. It's always a good excuse for anything.
Yeah.
But I am actually TiVoing this, and I'm going to fast forward through the game so I can see all the commercials.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I am a commercial fan.
Some of those commercials are pretty funny, but usually all I got to do is wait until the next day, and then I just get on YouTube and watch them all. So
and, yeah, they'll have them all posted.
Yeah.
But last year, I remember it was kind of a disappointment as far as commercials. They dropped the ball.
I remember, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, or the year before that even, but I remember GoDaddy.com used to have some really funny ones. So.
Oh, yeah, funny.
Funny?
Well, if getting a boner is funny, sure.
I don't know what you mean, getting a boner?
No, the GoDaddies, those are great, man. Those have the girls and they keep dropping their tops and stuff, right?
Oh, I don't know.
GoDaddy.com.
Yeah, I just remember that name because I remember their commercials were funny. I don't even remember the commercials.
Oh, they always have a hot girl in it. There was a big joke about it was a Janet Jackson thing, a wardrobe malfunction. And then she was wearing a spaghetti top, and she goes, "Oops."
Wow. Well,
yeah.
They really did their job well because I didn't remember the commercial, but I remembered their name.
I remember the commercials well.
Huh. Well, maybe I'll YouTube those, or maybe I'll have to go to RedTube to watch those.
I don't know. Is RedTube actually a sponsor yet?
We're working on it.
Yeah, we'll work on that one. That'd be a rad sponsor. I'd wear a hat.
I know there's a lot of podcasts that are sponsored by Adam and Eve that where you can buy like butt plugs and and jack off sleeves and things like that. So maybe if we play our cards right, we can get into that realm too.
Yeah, the truck driver. We gotta push that angle.
The truck driver angle.
Yeah, that we have a lot of truck driver fans.
Yeah, we can get Peterbilt involved, and
Yeah. So down to the important things. We need the important facts. What are we drinking for this show? What do you got there?
Well, last week, whatever it was, I churched it up pretty well, and I drank a bottle of wine. So I thought this week I was going to just kind of get back to the natural feel of things, like a Sunday afternoon, and I'm drinking Bud Light. But I do have a bottle of whiskey in the freezer that I might start dipping into a little bit later. But what are you drinking tonight? Did you get your keg fixed?
Yes, cake's fixed, but I felt obligated from your Merlot this choice last time. I am drinking a white wine spritzer. I figured I was going to stick with the don't ask, don't tell drinking theme you had going on.
I didn't drink a spritzer. Come on.
No, it's beer.
You're wearing flip-flops too, aren't you?
Oh, don't go there. No, but in all seriousness, I am drinking beer, a man's drink.
Okay.
It's a cool in a frosty glass, and it tastes great. Thanks.
Okay, you honestly, you made me nervous there for a second because I could see you drinking a wine cooler and trying to be tough.
Yeah.
I'm just kicking back with a Zima,
Well, maybe we'll have to have a Zima show. No, we don't have to do that.
I got oh, dude, this is so cool. I got an email, I think it was, for a guy that listens to the Barstool Preacher show, and on that show, I'm always complaining about, like, I got a PO box. Somebody needs to mail me whiskey. That's all I want. I want before I die, I want to be able to pull a bottle of whiskey out of a PO box. I think that would just be so cool. So I get an email from this guy, and he's like, you know what, whiskey's good and all, but I'm going to one up you. I'm brewing some moonshine for you. Wow. I'm like, dude. So then I told him, I said, you know what, I'll drink the moonshine during a show. So, like, by the end of the show, I'll probably be blacked out. But, oh, my God, I'm so looking forward to it.
That's funny. I've actually had moonshine once. My band, Uncle Tiki, was playing what was that? Oh, the Final Score in Upland.
I've been there.
You played there. You might have actually even played this show. But it was it's one of those things when you look back at a situation, how did I get myself in that particular situation? The next thing I know, the drummer and I are walking out to the parking lot with some hillbilly guy, nice guy, and I think he just, I got something you guys got to see, and so we go walk, and we followed him. So there you go. I don't know what I was thinking there. And he opens up the trunk of his car, and he's got a big barrel of moonshine. He's all, my grandpa makes this.
Next to the dead hooker.
Yeah. Well, he had to push her aside. Yeah, but we both take a swig off it, and it was awesome. It it went straight to your head, and it wasn't that. It was real smooth. And he called it whiskey. He didn't call it moonshine. But isn't it? I mean,
some of them do. Some of them, yeah. Because when you're done with your little story there, I'll go into mine. But yeah, they called it whiskey. But it's I think it's interchangeable.
I always figured if it's in the backyard and
if it's made out of a bathtub, it's either crank.
He said, he goes, you don't want to know how he makes it. He's all, but it's clean and shit. And we're like, okay. So we took a couple more swigs and then went back in. But that's always my fun moonshine story. So what were you saying? What do you know about moonshine?
Well, I was up in Bakersfield. I went over to Zombie, Rod and Culture, Zombie Hot Radware dude. Went to his house and we were out fucking around, and he's big into Gold Label, Coors, and whiskey. That's why we get along. And so I show up, I brought him some beers or something like that, and then he's like, I got a little something for you. And he runs in the house and he comes out and he's got this mason jar with rice paper on the lid, like to keep it so it can breathe a little bit. And there's it looks like tiny pieces of toothpicks floating in it. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And he's like, this is whiskey, but it's I just had the name, I forgot, rosewood or something like that, or hickory. There's hickory wood brewed into the whiskey, and so the wood chips are floating in it, but they're so saturated that you can actually swallow them, and then digest them, I guess. And so he and I took about 3 or 4 swigs off of that, and it was it's basically like drinking nothing. Like it didn't taste. It tasted a little bit like wood and a little burnt, but it didn't burn. It didn't go down your throat where you're like lose your breath or anything like that.
Interesting.
But man, I think I had 3 hits off of that, and I literally had to crawl out of the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good night.
Actually, it's funny. You just said that's Barstool you're talking about, right?
Yes.
I just heard on the news Fresno is the drunkest state in America. They just most alcohol-related crimes and most alcohol consumed per capita kind of thing. So hats off to our Fresno brothers.
You know that the
that was awesome.
Did you know that also what else is Fresno is known for is there's a little town just outside of Fresno. I can't think of the name of it right now, but a guy that lived there had his third felony arrest in Fresno for like murder or some shit like that, and that's when they decided the 3 strikes you're out rule. They're like, fuck it, this guy's going in for the rest of his life.
So Fresno guy.
Fresno also has the dubious honor of being the 3 strikes you're out town, I guess, where it all started from.
Wow.
Lovely Fresno. I tell you, I believe the drinking part because I just drive through that place and I want a beer. It's disgusting.
We gotta do a show in Fresno.
Oh, we used to play up there all the time at the Olympic Ball, Club Fred. Yeah, Luck of the Draw used to play up there all the time. We do like, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 shows every at least a show a month up there for a while.
Wow.
We actually played there one time when remember when we had the camper, the
Yes.
RV, we were touring that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we booked a show and then last minute the drummer backed out. He was like, can't do it, won't do it, and we'd already booked it. We were playing.
I can't believe that happened.
Yeah,
With that old drummer.
I can't believe it happened twice. We won't get into that.
we erected that situation.
Erected,
Fixed,
corrected, maybe.
corrected. We corrected that shit.
But that show that we were playing at Fred's was with Los Creepers and I think Caddy Ness because they're from Fresno.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, and I called Herman, I think it was, and I told him, hey, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do the show because the drummer just backed out, and Herman's like, fuck that, I'll play drums. So we actually played Club Fred with Herman on drums.
Oh wow.
And it was pretty funny because he'd never played with us before. He'd just seen us enough to where he kind of knew the material. And he sat on the toilet of the RV the whole drive up, playing drums on his shins or on his thighs, listening to like a little portable CD player or something of our material. And then by the time we got there, he was all over it. And I remember he played really well. And then I remember he poured a pitcher of beer on his head at the end of the set. So
That's good. What's wrong?
Yeah.
I hear King is a hippie walking by.
I think he saw a hippie. Maybe it was that hippie on the motorcycle, but he's all getting weird about the puppy. He's got to show his alpha male over the little puppy. So the I don't know. That's a howl though. That might have been a fire truck or a hippie, or the damn kids are making him bark and howl.
Goddamn kids, get off my yard!
Get off my lawn!
Arr.
Alrighty, well here we are then at show number 3, Luck of the Draw Radio. What's the topic for this week's show, Stan?
This topic is about dead guys before their prime. Cats who just came out, maybe did some, put out a CD. I mean, obviously we've heard of them, but not everyone's heard of them, and it's just a shame because they were rocking and they got taken away before they could really make their mark.
So no Jim Morrison, no Kurt Cobain.
They definitely made a mark, yeah.
Yeah, they were already prominent figures before.
Right. I'm talking hometown heroes that really, started to step forward and were snatched away.
Okay. Perfect, because that's almost crack open a beer there. That's almost exactly what I was going off of when you brought this up. So I think I got some good choices. But
cool. Well, that's the key. I'm sorry, that's the key too with our show. We're not going to bring any Doors or Nirvana. We're pretty sure the word is out on those guys.
Yeah, we might bring you some sort of some people that you already heard of.
Like Kiss. Kiss would fit into any kind of situation, and there's nothing wrong with bringing them in because we are a Kiss-friendly show here. Is that right, folks?
I wish this show was all about Kiss. I wish they were dead before their prime.
You bastard.
And also, what was the rule that I laid down last week? No more Kiss talk.
We weren't going to talk about Kiss. That was the rule.
This is the 3rd show in a row you brought it up. You're just going to keep doing that to get under my skin. All right. Well, hopefully you're not talking about Kiss because didn't the drummer die?
Yeah, he did. But he definitely made his mark. Eric Carr, great drummer.
Oh yeah. He was in like Cinderella for a little while or something too, or some such.
That wouldn't surprise me. I don't know that for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I remember the name.
Yeah, that wasn't my. That was my favorite era of Kiss.
That was like the lick it up stuff.
Yeah.
You know what?
For a guy who hates Kiss, you're pulling out.
As soon as I said that, I was like, oh, man.
Oh, I don't like those guys. Oh, yeah, lick it up. That was quite the composement there.
I told you I have a bunch of their records, and I look at the pictures, and I knew who Eric Carr was. So,
well, I mean, Dress to Kill, Rock and Roll All Over, Love Gun, they're all great albums, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
You can't take that away from them. And then they came out with Revenge, totally nailing it, and then they turned around and did the Kiss makeup again and got rid of the two cool guys who they had. Right,
and then they just hired Guns.
Yeah,
because isn't the guitarist and the drummer wearing the cat makeup and
yep.
So if you didn't know any better, you'd think you were watching Ace.
Exactly, it's horrible.
Except the guy's playing guitars in Ace makeup and he's 19 years old.
Yeah, so it's not cool.
No.
All right,
Kiss talk.
Yeah, enough Kiss talk.
you've got a choice. I don't know who it is. We've kept our choices pretty tightly under wraps, so I'm really interested to hear. So why don't you go ahead and run with it?
So I have one fella who was in two different bands that I'm going to bring up, and then you have two different individuals that you're going to bring up. My guy though is he came from Cleveland, Ohio. His name was Danny Fry. He was born 1972, died July 12th, 2003. And his first band, when I found or discovered him, was called Bop Dead, B-O-P Dead. Huh. And they put out, from what I understand, one CD called Where Robots Go to Die. And
that's a cool title.
Yeah, I think they were more maybe punk, kind of a pop punk thing, but he definitely had a definite rockabilly, swagger, swing to his voice. And I discovered them. My band, Uncle Tiki, was being considered, and actually was in a movie called Eyeball Eddie. It was a college student film from UCLA or something like that. And they were putting that in the movie. And actually, interesting, that director who picked my song, Uncle Tiki, for that one, ended up going to make she's actually doing really well as a director, but one of her movies was Aquamarine, some movie
that sounds real familiar.
Yeah, it's a terrible movie. Whenever my nieces come over, we always have to watch it. It's about a mermaid, and it's horrible. But I always laugh, like, hey, she liked my band enough to put it in her movie Eyeball Eddie. When the cool kids were beating up on the main character, Eddie, they were listening to Uncle Tiki off like a rocket in their Jeep. Right? Like here, it stops, and the music stops, and they jump out, they go, hey, jerk.
Wow.
So, yeah, I was bad kid music.
That's cool. So assholes like Uncle Tiki is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's something like that. Oh, well, but so as far as I know, I don't think Bop Dead made it into the movie, but I saw the pile of songs that were bands that were being considered. Mm-hmm. So I kind of wanted to know what my competition was, and then I saw that title, Bop Dead, Where Robots Go to Die. I go, this is actually kind of cool, unfortunately. And I listened to it, and I really liked it. And actually, when I found out that they didn't make the movie, I was probably almost as upset as I would have been if my band didn't make it.
Oh, wow.
And then I kind of I got to this thing where I wanted to follow this guy. I'm like his career, because I'm thinking this guy is good. And then he started this thing, Danny Fry and the Devil Dolls, and that was his last band. I'm going to play that song next. And then I heard he died, so it's kind of like, oh wow, it's just a real shame. This guy had a lot of potential.
The Danny Doll and the Devil Dolls, or Danny Fry and the Devil Dolls, sounds real familiar to me, but I couldn't pick out a song. But how did he die?
He died of they call it complications from diabetes.
Oh, okay. So hard living.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just he was drinking and doing drugs. But he was 21.
Oh wow, one of my guys is 21 too.
Well, he would have been 31, 72 to 2003.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's probably 31. So, but I think he probably had it. I don't know if he was using his insulin type of thing, or maybe he didn't know he had it. But like you said, hard living. That doesn't make it easy.
Rock and roll lifestyle do that to you.
Yep. So real shame. So yeah, my first song here is Bop Dead, and I don't know if this is in bad taste or not, but the song I picked was Rigormortal Love, about a lovely young girl he loved, and she died, and he didn't want to give her up, so he kept her around. Well,
it's not a sad tale anymore. Maybe
it's a love song.
Yeah, maybe he hooked up with her again in the afterlife.
That's right. Yeah, because one of my favorite lyrics is, "'Cause you looked so good lying on your back," because she was dead.
Well, of course.
That's sweet. Cool. So we'll just go ahead and fire this up.
Is this a Tender Jam?
No, it's rock and roll.
No? Oh, okay. So
it's punk rock Tender. Kick you in the nuts and maybe say you're sorry, Tender.
Okay. So it won't bring a tear to my eye, but
not unless you get some whiskey in there.
Okay, well, yeah, let's hear it. I'm interested.
All right, here we go. Danny Fry's first band, Bop Dead, with Rigor Love, coming at you live.
Luck of the Drop Radio.
Live off my iPod, I guess.
YouTube copyright infringement.
Nice.
Yeah. Bop Dead.
That sounded a lot to me, very Ramonesy.
Yes.
Which I like, a lot of downstrokes, and this is going to totally bring out. I'm going to just throw myself under the bus here. The vocals sounded a lot to me like Eddie and the Cruisers.
Oh, I could hear that.
But I liked it. I liked that a lot. The lyrics were good too.
Yeah, it's a good. Actually, that you can, if you a little bit of healthy Google searching, you could definitely find a way to buy that album. It's still out there. I don't think it's on a label. Because that Danny Fry and the Devil Dolls, the one I'm going to play next, I think was on a label, but I don't even know if I bought that CD, physically. But I was never able to find physically Bop Dead. I only found it because of the being up for a movie soundtrack connection. And that's the only way I even discovered them. They were like a local Cleveland band. They were touring around and stuff, but the band broke up before they got big, and then I think he went on to the Devil Dolls.
I think you ought to send me that. I like that.
I will.
I like that a lot. That proves that Cleveland rocks.
Word. One of these days we'll get you to say that on stage. It'll be wonderful. We'll be in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, and you'll get to say that.
Ooh, I did that in we were in Camarillo. And I said, all right, well, it's great to be in Carpinteria tonight. And like people looked at me, and then Ed looked at me. And this is when those airplane commercials were out, and he looked at me and he's all, "Want to get away?" I'm like, what? And everybody's looking at me all grumpy, and I'm like, "Oh, we're not in Camarillo or wherever I said we were." So yeah, I've done that. Well, that's cool. So, and do they have like a MySpace or anything like that, or they're not on iTunes or?
No, they got something on what do you call it? On MySpace, it's a Danny Fry like kind of memorial official website. Like if you do a MySpace Danny Fry and the FRYE, you'll find some information on them. But as far as the band Bop Dead, it's really forgotten. But I have come across you can buy the album, and it's funny after I play it, I go, I'm going to buy that album just so I have it because I have a burned copy,
right?
From when I got it from the movie situation. But shit, that was back in. I think that was back in 1990, 99 or 2000, I think, is when I actually discovered them, kind of.
And that didn't make the movie, though.
They did not make the movie.
Okay.
And you know what? They might have even been... That album might have been out longer than that, because I see on my Danny Fry, The Devil Dolls, that came out, the copyright information stuff was 2001. So they could have been working on that when I discovered Bop Dead, which could have come out, in 98, 97.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was really cool. I'd definitely like to get my hands on that record.
Well, I will hook you up, Bugs.
Awesome. Thank you.
Just like we try to do with our listeners here.
Hooking them up.
Yep.
Speaking of hooking up listeners, last week we had a little bit of a contest because you and I both brain farted and couldn't think of one of the most prominent actors.
I know. One of the biggest box office guys. Yeah.
I think both our wives and everybody else that we know was like, "You guys are fucking dumb. You don't know who Nicolas Cage is? Come on."
Yeah,
and I'm like,
Cage.
"Well, hey, at least I knew he was in Moonstruck. I think that's probably the last movie I'd seen, so that's why."
That's funny. We described everything of his, just everything he did except for his name.
Except for his name. and then you threw it out there and said that we'd make that into a contest, and we got a phone call. Do you want to play that right now?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and play the phone call. I think what is his name? Hot Carl.
Hot Carl. I like the name. Hot Carl. Maybe we should make Hot Carl our movie
aficionado.
Aficionado. Yeah.
I think he should be the Luck of the Draw Radio Listener of the Week.
There we go. Hot Carl, our radio listener of the week.
We'll send him a ribbon or something, but we owe him a Luck of the Draw EP when it's out.
Yeah.
So do you have that file? Do you want to play the voicemail?
I do. I'll play it right now.
All right.
And here we go.
Come on, man. This is Hot Carl. How can you not know Nicolas Cage's name? I win the contest. I need me a Luck of the Draw demo CD. I need me a demo CD. Come on, Nicolas Cage. How can you not know that? All right. I like this Luck of the Draw radio stuff. It's damn good. Bye.
I don't believe that his name is really Hot Carl, because you know what Hot Carl is, right?
It's something to do with feces and sexuality.
And faces.
And faces. See,
I believe.
I thought that was a Dirty Sanchez.
No, Dirty Sanchez is when you wipe it. But a Hot Carl, I think, has something to do with saran wrap.
When you actually drop it.
And yeah, that's from, or maybe it's on your chest.
I want to say chest.
We can check it out at Urban Dictionary.
A fishbowl has something to do with over the head, but into the bowl, not actually physically touching it.
I'm really, really pleased that you and I both don't know what a Hot Carl officially is. Because if you knew, like, oh yeah, what you do is.
Well, I know it costs you an extra $20, but
not in Thailand, buddy.
God bless Thailand.
All right, well, Hot Carl, the official Luck of the Draw radio listener of the week. Your prize will be in the mail. You too could be the listener of the week if you call in with your comments and suggestions.
There you go. There you go.
You know the number?
I know the number, but
Well,
do they? Let's see. It is 530-618-2847.
Absolutely.
And it spells out something cool, but I can never remember.
Bugs. Spells out my name. That's how cool it is.
So
and you can also email us over there at wewantbeer@gmail.com. Those are the two ways to get a hold of us.
Don't send us beer. Send us whiskey.
Yeah, if you want to mail whiskey, P.O. Box 816, Lake Hughes, California, 93532. And we'll drink, even though we're doing this over Skype, I will mail Stan half the bottle of whiskey, and we will drink it together.
That would be rad.
We should. Hopefully we'll get a whiskey bottle in the mail. We can do a whiskey drinking show. Maybe we could do a whole show of songs about whiskey while we drink whiskey that a listener sent in. That's a goal.
That's a good show. But the listeners, you have to make that happen. You have to send this bottle.
That's right. I agree. Well, okay, so we've done your first pick.
That's my first pick, yes.
Hot Carl, listener of the week. And I guess now we'll get into my first pick.
Great. Who do you got there?
I chose a fella by the name of Elliott Smith, who was he kind of exploded a little bit in the Silver Lake scene. You know, the
local boy, yeah, okay.
Silver Lake, Hollywood. Well, he was born in Omaha, Nebraska, and he was says he was raised primarily in Texas and then lived in Portland. So he kind of like floated around, but he ended up really striking a chord with the Silver Lake scene. And I'd seen him a couple times at like what was that bar?
The Space Club?
Spaceland. You guys did a photo
Spaceland.
shoot there.
Yeah, we played there too once, but yeah, it was a beta Uncle Tiki photo shoot there. That's right.
Yeah, I remember that. I'd seen him at Spaceland, and really cool singer-songwriter guy. Just played mostly an acoustic and then sang, but he also did like on his Wikipedia thing it says clarinet, bass guitar, harmonica, drums. So he was kind of an all-around, musician. He did put out quite a few records. Put out a lot of records actually, and he was at one point he was signed to DreamWorks. So he had a really big. It says here he was 97. He signed to DreamWorks, and he was nominated for an Oscar because his song was in Good Will Hunting, and and that really pushed him to the forefront. Like a lot of people that hadn't heard of him obviously before, all of a sudden started to get involved in what he was doing. And he was I think he was a heroin addict and did a lot of drinking and just did a lot of hard living. And he was, I guess, suffered from depression, just your atypical rock and roll emo kind of.
I was gonna say a musician depressed? What the? I've never heard of such a thing.
Living in like a 1-bedroom apartment in Silver Lake that's all dirty and whatever, and there was a big like a controversy over his death, and basically when I first heard about him dying, it was everybody had said that it was stab wounds, like he'd killed himself with stabbing himself in the heart.
Wow. And
then it got to the point where they're like, yeah, he killed himself, stabbing himself in the heart with like a butter knife or a steak knife, a dull-ended steak knife. Like he wanted to die. It wasn't it wasn't a pretty easy death. Like it was something that he had to really try to do. And then the more I kind of read into it, then all of a sudden the conspiracy theories came out and everything. And he had a girlfriend that they got into a fight, and then she went into the bathroom. She said she locked herself in the bathroom to take a shower. And when she came out, she heard him scream or something like that. She came out and he'd had a knife in his chest. So she pulled it out, and then that's how she got her prints on the knife. Uh-huh. At least that's what she tells the cops. Ah. And then dialed 911, and they came out, and they're like, yeah, he'd been stabbed through the heart, so he's dead, you know. And the police did a little investigation on that and everything, and there was a suicide note on a Post-it note that said, "I'm sorry, love Elliot, God forgive me."
Wow.
So, and in all honesty, like I'm not a big conspiracy guy, and I listen to his lyrics, and a lot of his lyrics are about suicide, and a lot of his lyrics are about, you know, overwhelming depression, and just. And I could believe that he did it, you know. And she was never convicted of anything either. So I pretty much believe the story, the actual story. But there's a lot of conspiracy. You know, people are like, oh well, she needs to be hung or whatever. But it is, I guess, whatever it's done. You know, he's gone. So, but let's see, what was I have a self-titled record. And I think it was one of his first or second record. I'm not exactly sure. There was a hit on there. There was a real indie hit, college radio hit called "Kneel in the Hay," which I was going to play, but I changed my mind. I changed the song I wanted to play was "Coming Up Roses." Okay. And it's actually it's one of my favorite songs anyway. And just the whole story behind him is, I don't know, I kind of like it. So
that's a wild story.
Yeah, it's pretty nutty. I'm trying to look on his Wikipedia page real quick. Miss Misery was the tune that was in the Good Will Hunting.
I've heard that song. That's a great song. Yeah.
Yeah, and like most of his shows, it would just be him on a folding chair and an acoustic guitar and a microphone, and he would sing so quiet and just so like that. I talked about before, like Richard Buckner, where it's just that one guy on stage, and I've done that. Like I've done tours where it's just me and an acoustic guitar, and there's nothing to make you feel, you know, just so paranoid and so naked in front of people than just being the only person on stage. If you have a band, you know, you can, like for me, especially being a frontman, I can always rely on the guys behind me to help me through my rocky spots.
Especially the bass players.
Yeah, because there's been so many of them.
Yeah, well.
But when it's just you and a guitar, I mean, you either get the audience involved or you don't, you know. And if you don't, I've been there, and it's rough. Like you start to sweat, and it ain't easy just being. So you got to be able to command, and I think Elliot really, really did. And his records a lot of times sounded like it was very almost live, one track kind of thing. You know, I'm looking right here. It says that he was also in. He covered a Beatles tune, Because, that was an American Beauty. So he's been in a few movies, and I don't think he was necessarily well off, but I don't think he was hurting either. You know, he was definitely making a career out of playing music. So that's all I got about him. We could play the song, I suppose.
That's super interesting. Yeah, let's belt this out.
I would definitely recommend, if you're at all interested in the story, to go check out more of Elliott Smith. Even the Wikipedia page is pretty interesting. You know, it said he was born August 6, 1969, and he died October 21st, 2003. So what does that make him? 34?
Yeah, something like that.
Right around there. Oh, yeah, it says right there. At age 34, he died in Los Angeles, California from 2 stab wounds to the chest.
Wow.
So yeah, let's go ahead and play, I already forgot the name of the song again. Coming Up Roses by Elliott Smith.
Alrighty, here we go.
YouTube copyright infringement.
All right, well, there you go. That was Elliott Smith, Coming Up Roses. What'd you think there, Stan?
Very cool. I like that. That was very cool. I don't know the name of the song, but I know it from the Good Will Hunting soundtrack, and I did like that.
That Miss Misery.
That's exactly what it is, Miss Misery. And
yeah, I was thinking, like, when I read that on Wikipedia, I know the song, but I don't own it, so I can't think of it offhand. But I think all of his material is pretty much like that, real melancholy and, you know, downtrodden kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think heroin does that to you.
It's like music for a rainy day.
Yeah.
You want to fall on a steak knife.
Yeah, I lived in Seattle for 2 years, went to school up there, and the rain, man, it'll do it. I don't think I wrote one upbeat rock and roll song. Everything was down, trodden, and ooh, boo-hoo, boys be.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Seattle, he had a little bit of a Seattle connection too. He was on Kill Rockstar Records, which is out of Seattle, and that was like they started that whole Riot Girl thing, I believe.
Okay.
And he dated, I think he dated, I'm not exactly sure, allegedly dated, whatever, Mary Lou Lord, which was Kurt Cobain's girlfriend before the winch. What's her name?
The winch. The hole.
The hole. How would you How would you feel being her and like Kurt Cobain kills himself and then Elliott Smith kills himself and be like, ooh, I need to stop dating people.
Yeah.
And she's pretty cool. I actually saw her at Jabberjaw in downtown LA. And it was just her and an acoustic guitar, and she was pretty cool. But yeah, so there you go. That's Elliott Smith.
They weren't passing out butter knives or anything, were they?
No, this was. You know what the funny thing about Jabberjaw? Did you ever go to that bar?
You know what? I didn't.
Well, actually, it was a coffee shop. They didn't serve alcohol, but you could bring your own in. But there was a Thanksgiving one year where L7 cooked everybody Thanksgiving. All the girls from L7.
Wow.
So I had turkey and yams that the L7 girls made us. It was pretty funny.
Nice, sexy.
Yeah, it was a good time. Cool. Well,
cool. Good pick. So that was your number one pick.
Yes.
And you have two picks, and I feel like I kind of dropped the ball. I picked the same guy. He had two different bands, so that's where my head was at. But as we were talking about things, and I think the reason I didn't think of this, I just kind of want to give an honorable mention to a cool rock and roll dead guy. I just never think of this guy as being dead. I don't even know if he's been dead for a year now. His name was, I always knew him as Gary X, but I think his name was Gary Finneran. He was in a band called the X Idols.
Oh, I know that band.
Yeah, they had a CD out called Social Kill, and it was actually, it was on Relativity Records. And it was big time, potential push, but whoever at that record label was in charge of exposing them to the world totally dropped the ball, because it's an amazing album, and unless you knew of them, you didn't know they came out with a CD type of thing, and it was just a horrible. Wow. And that was actually, that CD came out. I'm looking at the thing right now. God, man, 94, and yeah, a long time ago. And I think they were working on a second album and they were dropped before that came out. And maybe they put that one out. And he did a bunch of little stuff around town, so he's always kind of around. And I kind of actually was connected with a couple of their friends, like I can't even think of his name now. Custom Made Charlie from Custom Made Scared. Charlie was actually good friends with him, which I didn't even know. And I wasn't friends with the guys. I knew him from another band. He came out, like he was from, I don't know, the Midwest, came out to California to be a rock star with another band, and they're called White Wrath. And then once they got out here, they broke up, and he went off to do his other things. But the guys who I ended up meeting were in this band called Ask Alice.
That sounds real familiar.
Yeah,
I've heard of them.
They were big on the glam. They came out about the same time Bang Tango did, so they kind of had
I love me the glam.
They kind of had that funk, glam rock and sound, and that's where those guys went. And I think that was kind of the problem, maybe the problem with the band. Those guys had that glam in them, and Gary did not have that glam. He was a punk rock guy. Oh well, but the X Idols was great. Didn't go anywhere, so they dropped that band. He did a couple other projects afterwards, and I think, like I said, within a year, he killed himself.
Wow. And
which is it's just shame. I just, it was like going around MySpace, just kind of, keeping tabs on different people and artists I like.
Right.
And I was looking up his page, and I go, oh my God. So I don't know what happens there. Lyrically, kind of like Kurt Cobain, it's like, if I only had a gun. It was in his lyrics.
Yeah, and even with Elliott Smith, if you listen to a lot of his lyrics, it's kind of it's written in the underlining, if you could read between the lines. Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't know what the subject would be, but I would like to play some X Idols on a show. In the next couple of shows we do, I'd like to be able to play the X Idols. Maybe some punk. I don't know. They're not really punk. They were definitely kind of in the pop punk thing. Because when I think of punk, I think of dangerous. Somebody's going to hit you in the lip. Knock some
G.G.
teeth out.
Allen kind of stuff.
Yeah. Like the Green Door days, early on, when you could get hurt for trying to be cool.
If you had your hair wrong or
That's right.
wear it too long.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think of punk. But this was it's rock, and I really like the X-Idols.
This is our show. We can play whatever the hell we damn well please. So if you want to do a show with the X-Idols, then we can definitely do that.
Dag nabbit.
Dag nabbit.
Well, cool. We'll stick with my original dead guy, Danny Fry. And after Bop Dead, he started basically his own band, Danny Fry and the Devil Dolls. Mm-hmm. And he from what I can gather, they kind of recorded it, and they were trying to come up with this whole rockabilly, rock and roll kind of genre image. Yeah, they're definitely going for that. And it sounds like they recorded this stuff, and he maybe played the majority of the instruments and actually did all the vocals. So there was never really a band in the studio. And then when it came time to put the band out, they just couldn't find the right people. But as with the band Bop Dead, they actually did some extensive touring in the States and over in Europe. And one of the big bands in Europe in those days was called the Yo-Yos.
Okay.
And I think I heard you mention once before that you've known a couple bands called the Yo-Yos.
Yeah, I'd heard of a few. Like the Zeros. There's been a bunch of Zeros bands, and I think there was a couple Yo-Yos bands as well. But I'm not sure of the one that you're talking about, though.
I don't know about a ton. They were very popular in England, and they happened to have broken up, but the Bop Dead had played with them, and when it came time to find a band for his Danny Fry and the Devil Dolls, he goes, man, let's get those English cats, because I think the Yo-Yos aren't around anymore. So that's what they did.
He didn't say, let's go get a bunch of Yo-Yos to play on my record, did he?
Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe that's how it worked, and the manager took him literally and went and found the band, the Yo-Yos.
Oh, I'll go get him. So he went and got him, and they put it out, and the album came out, and I don't believe he lived much longer after, because the album, 2001, he died 2003, so they probably just got one or two legs, of the album actually out. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it didn't last long. And this is not a suicide guy, I'd like to stress, just complications from diabetes. But if you know you got diabetes and you're not taking insulin and you're drinking like a fish,
mm-hmm.
I mean,
you've got some complications.
something's coming. And
was this on a major label? Is that what you were saying?
This one was on Lucky 13 Records.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't.
No, the X-Idols were on the major one.
Oh, okay. That's where we're going.
Yeah, that's how that one came up. So I would like to play. The name of the album is Hellbent, so I would like to play the title track Hellbent. Though interesting enough, number 10 on the CD. Isn't that interesting? It's not the first song on the CD. It's the 10th song on the CD.
The title track?
The title track. The CD is called Hellbent. Hellbent comes number 10 on the CD.
That doesn't surprise me all that much. Why does that surprise you? Do you think the title track has to be the opening track?
Not the opening, but not 10. You got 13 fucking... Okay, here we go. Sunshine moment. You got 13 fucking songs.
Right.
You're going to put the title one on 10? 10?
Yeah. Well, see, I have a since we opened the show talking about sports.
Yeah?
I have a sports analogy to music, to putting out records, and it's not even that. Now that downloads have become the main thing, it's not as coherent anymore as it used to be. But when we put out records, I would go to the listening booths, and my sports analogy to music is, you start out with your first song. A strong hitter, a guy that's going to get on base. Not necessarily a home run hitter, but a guy that's going to get on base. So you start out with that track. Your next two tracks are just solid, but they're not the best. When you get to fourth, you got cleanup. And if it's all going correctly, you've got the bases loaded at this point. You've got all three of the first guys got a single. You get the fourth song. That is the cleanup, home run hitting, grand slam song of the record. The fourth song is always got to be the best song on the record. So going on 10th, that is a little bit rough, because by that point you might have lost, you might have had 3 duds, and then somebody's like, fuck it, take it out. So 10th is a little late, but I always put the strongest song fourth.
Okay, Skip, let's do this one for the Gipper then. But no,
That's just my analogy. I mean, and also when I would go to listening booths and I'd listen to a CD, I'd go straight to the fourth song. And if it didn't blow me away, then I wouldn't listen to the rest.
You know what? I got to agree, because number 4 and number 7 tend to be, if I was going to pick up, like you said, the good old days, a CD, I'd go to 4 and 7 seem to be the ones that I thought were great.
Mm-hmm. And what's funny too is and it just was fuel for my fire. But a lot of the records that I listen to, the fourth song is usually the best song of the record.
Huh. we're going to have to pay extra special attention when we put this EP together and send it off to our friend Hot Carl.
I think what we're going to do is just name every song fourth song.
Oh, that's brilliant. Number four.
That just gave me a good idea for another show.
Yeah?
What your favorite fourth track off of whatever record.
I love it. That is a great song.
We'll have to try to do that in one of these weeks coming up. And you could do your that band you wanted to do, the
Ex-Idols. Yeah, and I'm looking at it right now. Wish I Never Heard Your Name. Good song.
See? I tell you.
There's one's down. What number is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's seven songs. That's probably my favorite Ex-Idols song.
That's the show. The first song will be the fourth song. The second song will be the seventh song.
Of one artist.
Yeah.
Okay, so we both pick one artist and do that. Okay, cool. That's it. I'm fine with both of the songs of Ex-Idols. But that's the thing too. I really like this album, so it's hard for me to pick a song. But yes, I'll go with that. Great idea, Bugs.
That means we got to record one more song because we're doing a 6-song EP.
Oh fuck. No, then you just default to the last one.
Or every song is called the fourth song.
I like every song, the fourth song.
Track 4, track 4, track 4.
This is the fourth song of our fourth album.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, we got a little off track there. What was
us? Off track?
Yeah, off track. Imagine that.
The hell you say?
Beer does that to me. What was
beer?
What were you going to play now? You got another?
I am going to play Danny Fry's second album, Danny Fry and the Devil Dolls, and the album is Hellbent, and the song just happens to be Hellbent, but it's number 10. So go figure. Hellbent coming at you live, Luck of the Draw Radio.
Awesome.
YouTube copyright infringement.
Alrighty, that was the Danny Fry and the Devil Dolls playing Hellbent, number 10 on their CD, Hellbent, the Devil Dolls. Oh, wait, Danny Fry and the Devil Dolls.
That was cool. I like that a lot. I like his voice.
Cool voice, yeah. And he played guitars, and he actually... I should have gotten this information. It's on the Wikipedia. It's on the... He played with some cool cats, like... I can't remember. He was basically a sought-after lead guitar player. Like, people really dug him, but he had his own thing going, so...
Oh, did he play lead on that as well?
Yeah, he played all the leads and rhythms.
Okay. His voice reminded me a little of like Iggy Pop, like Brick by Brick era. That was pretty cool. And then the intro I thought was very, very 90s glam. It almost sounded like, I don't know if it was my headphones or what, but it sounded like it might have been a flange on that. Like a...
Yeah.
So I like it. I'm a sucker for that glam, the 90s glam bang tango, like you were saying. I like that stuff.
That's funny. I always figured you would ridicule me for bringing up stuff like that.
Oh, I will. But no, I mean, I used to like roadie and stuff for bands like back in the day with Funhouse, and used to go see like VVSI and all those, big hair bands and stuff. And there was one time we were at you remember FM Station? Filthy McNasty's
loved
place?
FM Station.
Yeah,
Wait, is that what that stood for? Filthy McNasty?
Yeah.
I thought it was
the owner.
I thought it was FM, like the radio station.
No, that was the owner's name. He called himself Filthy McNasty. He had like a radio show on KNAC or something for a while, and he's kind of a douchebag. But
I miss KNAC. That was such a cool place, man. It had that telephone in the back where it was like soundproof, and you could pull it shut.
Yep.
Go, I'm still at work, honey. That was a cool bar, man.
I had to. I was doing backline or something for a band friends of mine. Might have been Funhouse. I'm not sure what. And there was a band called Paradise. And there were two bands. There was a band called Paradise. Like it's spelled like if you go to Hawaii and you go, this is paradise.
Uh-huh.
And there was another band that was called Paradise, which was like pair, like two, and then the letter A, and then dice.
Oh.
So, yeah, stupid. But I just so remember them. Like one of the guys in the band came up to me, and I was knee deep in the whole glam scene, but I'd look like a punk rock kid. I always had like, the shorter hair and the Doc Martens and things like that. And I remember this guy came up to me and he gave me a demo, and he's like, "What the hell are you even doing in this bar, man? You don't even look like you should be here." And then I'm like, "Well, why the fuck are you giving me a demo for your band?" And it's horrible. And I think I still have it. It might be out in the chicken coop, but yeah, horrible. Well, I have a chicken coop in the backyard.
I hope they never find any Uncle Tiki out there.
No, because all the Uncle Tiki and Ultralux and things like that you've given me has been on CD, and that's all in the house. But all the cassettes are out in the chicken coop.
Okay, I was gonna say I do remember prior to all that, you and I handed each other. We did the cassette exchange.
I think that was like the day we met.
Yeah. What was that? Moguls, we decided.
Moguls. God, I missed that boy. I saw 16 horsepower there. Oh, what a great show.
Wow.
So, but yeah, that was cool. I like that. Like a kind of glittery, glam kind of throwback. Miss those days.
Yeah. Well, you even didn't you run with the Jane's Addiction and Guns N' Roses guys kind of too?
Yeah, well, I had an in with when I was doing stuff for Funhouse, which was really, it's hard to say I was doing things for them. I was just kind of a hanger-on, and every now and then I'd carry an amp.
Right.
But
I get you through the back door.
Yeah, exactly. I got an all-access pass, so I'm like, all right.
I can carry an amp.
Yep. And then Chris Hazard, the singer, he and I we'd go skating together on the weekends and stuff, And so it was, I don't know, he was kind of cool. But through them, I met a guy that was he was working for Club Scream at the time.
I remember that place.
On Highland, not the one downtown.
Oh, I
see.
had
two. They would do one on Tuesday nights and they do one on Friday nights or Saturday nights. The Saturday night one was on 3rd in downtown, and then the other one was on Highland. I could drive by the building right now. You know how back then they used to change the name of the club every night?
Yeah, we had a Scream out in Pomona real quick just before off of Holt. That's what I thought you were talking about. That was a cool place, man.
No, well, yeah, this Scream was like the Cat House was there. That
oh yeah.
That's his name, and the guy from Faster Pussycat and the other douche. They had their show. They do their thing on like Wednesday nights.
That was Highland, right?
Right on Highland, yeah.
Melrose,
the big white building. Yeah,
I think it's black now.
I haven't been there in a while. But so my buddy he would do lights or sound or some shit at Scream. So I'd go down and you always see great bands at Scream, and I ended up meeting the drummer from Jane's Addiction there, and they were playing one night or something. They were recording the live EP or something. I'm not sure how it was working, but I was standing out on the sidewalk, and I'm like, well, carry your drums in. I'll give you a hand. Carried the shit in, and I had no idea that they were going to be what they were, but ended up becoming pretty decent friends with them. And I've been to like Perry's house and things like like when they lived in Venice and things like that. Just kind of. I never went like alone. It wasn't like I could call them up and go, hey, you want to go get a beer? But, if I'd seen them out at a bar, they'd be like, hey, what's going on? And they'd hang out with me. And so I'm actually in the Mountain Song video. I'm sitting on the side of the stage. And then I'm actually, they did right before Ritual de la Habitual came out, they recorded the video for Been Caught Stealing up in the mountains at a ski lodge, but it was a summertime, so there was no skiing.
Was that Baldy?
Yeah, I think it was Baldy, actually. It was out by you.
That's directly above my house. I think I've heard you talk about that before.
And it was one of those things where they handed out flyers on Melrose with the phone number, and it had like the picture of the Ritual cover. Didn't say Jane's Addiction, nothing like that. Just had the picture and a phone number. And you call it, and they're like, meet us at a parking lot, 2:30,
Click.
And then you go to that parking lot, and they put you on a school bus, and they drive you up to the ski resort. And then
that's a healthy ride.
Yeah, and there was like a Kmart at the bottom of the hill that you would meet at, and you'd drive up the road. But I was on the in, so I didn't have to do the whole Kmart thing. Like I was already in with the band, so I knew it was going to happen. And so I went up, and then in that video, you can see me. I jump on stage, and then I start to run towards Perry, and then he pushes me into Dave, and then Dave looks at me like, "Who the fuck are you?" and then pushes me in the crowd. So it's like if you sneeze, you miss it, but every time it comes on, I'm like, there I am.
That's awesome.
That's my claim to fame.
Who else had a cool, actually, he didn't follow it through, but my old bass player for Uncle Tiki, Ash, he was out on the strip, seeing some club, and some guys were coming around passing out paper, hey, come in to, this location. I think it was SIR rehearsals, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was basically Nirvana's doing a video shoot at 3 a.m. So they basically went to all the places on Sunset at 1:30, 2 o'clock to get all these people just to come straight from there to their video shoot. And I think he said he went there and he goes, fuck this is lame, and he left.
But
it was for the Teen Spirit video shoot.
Oh, so they had to sit on bleachers and all that?
Yeah, and it was a whole thing. And once he got there, because Ash is no nonsense punk rocker. Like he kept Uncle Tiki honest in a lot of ways. Like I'd go, hey, let's do this. And he goes, no. We're not doing that. So it kept us.
But he agreed to doing a Blondie song.
Yeah, but we fucking rocked that Blondie song. I forgot all about that.
The thing I liked about that, it was request only.
Yeah, and you were usually the dickhead who requested it.
I didn't request it. I just yelled out in between songs, "You know any Blondie?"
And we've learned it just for you. But it was rocking. I can't even remember the name of it. He picked it.
It was "Call You on the Telephone," I think.
No, it wasn't that. I don't think. I'm almost positive. I couldn't tell you what it was. Because I remember I wasn't even familiar with it, and I knew "Call You on the because L7 had "Call You on the Telephone."
Oh, did they?
And that was kind of popular then, and I think that's why I would have even said not do it. And that's Ash would not have done it. Like we did a Queen song, and it was "I'm in Love with My Car." Mm-hmm. I mean, and who the fuck knows that song? It's Night of the Opera's the fucking drummer sang it. Great song, but it wasn't "We Are the Champions."
Right.
So I would bet money it wasn't that. I can't remember the name of the song. Hey, maybe that. If you can
I
guess.
just remember I was stunned because I would yell that for years, and you guys would just be like, "Oh, shut the fuck up!" And then I think we were in Utah, and I yelled it, and you went, "What? Did somebody just request Blondie? What?" And I'm like, "Uh-oh, something's up." And then you guys played it, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, so you do know Blondie."
You know what? I bet you Ed's got that on video. Didn't he always brag that he's got?
Yeah, he might have.
That'd be great to hear that because
I just remember listening to that, going, "This is cool, but my joke's over. It's done. I can't say this anymore."
And that, ladies and gentlemen,
if you would have known that you could have done that like 4 years prior, you could have shut me up a long time ago.
Yes, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you deal with a smartass. You give it to them.
Give them what they want.
Yeah. Enough. Okay. Well.
Oh,
cool.
Good times.
Yeah. So you got another guy, a dead guy.
Yes, I do. And when I was initially told about this topic, it was one of the first people that came to mind. Even though I think that most people don't think that he died before his prime. I think that most people thought that he had made it before he had died. But the fact of the matter is, in my opinion, especially, I guess, is that he died young, and he died, but his music was so influential and so profound that he just became bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think lots of people probably found him after he died. So I would basically, I think that would be that more people know about him than people that actually saw him play live. People would say I'm a fan, but they never got to see him play live because he was already dead.
Huh.
And he was born.
Suspense is killing me.
Oh, and also when I was digging through my record collection to see if I had a song that I could play, I was very surprised that I don't. I have a bunch of covers, a bunch of bands that have covered his stuff, and I don't. So I'm banking on the fact that you have it, and I would be even more surprised if you don't than I was surprised that I didn't.
Because of me and who I am and what I am to the universe?
And I think that you're a fan. I think that you're a fan of this guy, and I think that you would have his. Like I say, I'm surprised I don't.
I've talked about this guy. Like I've said something.
You've sang his songs.
What?
Oh yeah. He was born October 3rd, 1938, according to Wikipedia, and he died April 17th, 1960, at the ripe young age of 21 years old.
Wow.
He died. Let me see here.
Sing his songs.
He died on tour in the United Kingdom. Died in a traffic accident in a taxi.
Oh my God, I know exactly. Yes, how did I not see him coming? Can I say the name?
Yeah.
Eddie Cochran.
Eddie Cochran,
I'm
exactly.
a huge Eddie Cochran fan. Yes, before his time.
And he became, a household name long after he died. I thought, I
think you're absolutely right.
I think he put out 2 records,
and they tagged him day one as an Elvis Presley ripoff.
Yeah, well, the new Elvis, yeah.
Yeah, but when you got to the nuts and bolts of him, he had a lot going on. He had a total country kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. Like he and his brother, I think they're called the Cochran brothers. I can't remember. But
it wasn't really his brother. It was a guy.
I didn't. I'm shocked.
Yeah, it's a guy by the name of Hank Cochran, later a country music songwriter. Although they were not related, they recorded as the Cochran brothers and began performing together. That's what it says right on Wikipedia. Yeah, I was a little surprised with that too.
That surprised me. I just assumed.
So yeah, 21 years old, and even to this day, you go to Viva Las Vegas, you're going to hear in that 5-day stretch, you're going to hear 20 Eddie Cochran tunes.
Yeah. Oh, I love Eddie Cochran. I can't believe I didn't see that coming. Whatever it is, I got it.
I tried to keep this under wraps because I knew that I knew that you didn't pick him already because I think you told me who you'd pick, but I wanted to get somebody in that I thought might surprise you.
You sneaky motherfucker. God,
that's how I roll.
God damn you, Bugs.
So it just amazes me, though, that, he died in 1960 at 21 years old, but he's still, people still consider him a viable, I guess musical legend to this point. I mean, his music is still, it comes on the radio, whatever. I'll listen to it. I won't change the channel,
He was the real thing, man. He played it. He was a musician.
Mm-hmm.
And he
had his own signature Gretsch, I believe, too.
I don't know about that. I know he used to call it the guitar, GIT space TAR.
Gitter. It says here, notable instrument, the Gretsch 6120. So, I don't know.
Elvis wasn't playing that shit. He was just wiggling around while the other guys were the music, the musical prowess.
It says Gibson electric acoustic guitar with the single Florentine cutaway. This guitar featured a pair of Gibson P90 pickups, sometimes called the dog ear pickups due to its shape. Later, Cochran moved to a 56 Gretsch 6120 Chet Atkins Western model, which he had modified, and that became his signatures. Okay.
He was definitely, I've read that, he's into his sound. He was very particular, and probably like what you're saying with those dog ears, the P90, because those things are noisy. I've always wanted a guitar because they look cool. Like Johnny Thunder always played what is it?
The Les double cutaway?
A Les Paul Jr. or something, but with those P90s, and they're just noisy as fuck through your amp. If you're not strumming, it's
they're feeding back.
Yeah.
I had a crappy Les Paul that I think it was a Les Paul. It might have been an no, it wasn't. It was what's the oh god, not Gibson. What's the cut rate version?
Oh, the Epiphone.
Epiphone. I had an Epiphone Les Paul that I put P90s in, and it was just too hard to control. It was just feeding back and squealing, and
it's like a hollow body, man. They're awesome, but live in front of a loud cabinet, man.
I think I was playing through my 20th anniversary Marshall at that time too. So the 100-watt Marshall, just like what Ed has, and then the big old P90s, and
I always liked your music man.
Yeah, I love that
combo.
Amp.
That thing.
I'll never
awesome.
get rid of it.
The beautiful thing was it was stolen and returned.
Oh, the combo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the one I'm playing now.
Oh no! I meant the combo, the littler one. You still have that one, don't you?
No, I sold that about 2 years ago.
Yeah, I kind of thought you did. I was surprised when you said you're never going to get rid of it. That was cool.
Because I thought you were talking about the blonde that I'm playing now.
No, the little. It was a 12-inch probably only, and it was just a small combo.
It was a Music Man 210, so it was 10-inch speakers.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was a little bit more odd than I thought. And when I went to sell it, I put it on eBay for like whatever $300, and I started getting emails right away going, "I'll email you, whatever. I'll send you $500 for it right now if you're in the auction." And I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute, there's something about this amp, And so I took it down. I did more research, and the 210 was pretty rare. So I think I got a pretty penny for it.
I remember playing it once. We were, I think, doing that Country Spice and the Racks band you and I played in, and I played through it once in a practice. I'm like, holy cow!
Yeah, it was a neat little amp.
This is real. This is something.
I think when I sold it, I was moving to Wyoming and I had to purge a bunch of stuff. And at that point I had probably 4 amps, bass and guitars, and then I had 12 or 15 different cheap guitars and the upright bass and the drums and all that stuff. So I was like, it's cheaper to sell it than it would be to get a bigger U-Haul. So I think that's why I sold it.
Huh. Okay. Well, cool.
Well, since I picked this guy and I don't have any of his songs, what would be a song that you would want to hear other than 20 Flight Rock?
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Because that's the one we used to cover, 20 Flight Rock.
I mean, that's kind of, in my opinion, that's like what he was most famous for. I'd like to play something that's really cool that's a little bit more underground than that. But if you want to play that, we could play that.
YouTube copyright infringement.
Come on, everybody. Almost 2 minutes of pure rock and roll right there.
Woo!
So I'd say, what do you think? But you picked it. So,
oh, man. I just still can't get over myself that I think because technically he'd be dead, if it was according to natural terms, he would have been dead by now. So that wasn't in my head. So in my head, it was like, okay, who should be alive? Who should be rocking? Who should we be getting a new record from any day now? That's where my head was. But you're absolutely right. This guy, 21, and after listening to that, man, It's like I wouldn't be surprised if Elvis was driving the car that drove his cab off the road. Because this guy would have given Elvis a run for his fucking money because he definitely had more going on and more to come.
I agree. But then again, you get to the point where you're like, would we want a Vegas Eddie Cochran? Like would he have gone that route if he would have been alive that long? And so in a way, it's kind of, he gets to be what he is permanently without ever fucking up,
Live fast, die young, and leave a good-looking corpse, baby. Eddie took care of all.
Yeah.
Good-looking man.
He wasn't a bad-looking fella. Had the little DA haircut. And,
yep.
Cool. Well, I'm glad I surprised you with that because I was hoping that I could pull one out that I figured, I'd start out with a little obscurity with Elliot and then go into, a little bit of a surprise for you.
Yeah. Well done, Bugs.
Well, thank you. How are we doing on time? What are we?
It's about time to wrap her up.
Let's see here. We got some show supporters. You want to talk about a little Bad Luck Designs?
I want to talk about that.
I just got a great shirt from them. I don't know where I'm going to wear it, but it cracks me up. It's this old 50s drawing of a guy on a couch smoking a pipe, and he's looking at this little kid. It's 8 or 10 years old, and he's kind of pointing his finger at him, and it says, "Billy, you ever tried coke off an erect penis?"
Oh no. Oh, that's wrong on a couple of levels. At least one or two that I can think of.
So yeah, I'm not sure where I can wear that, but I can't wait till the day I do.
Well, what was the last time we were in the recording studio? You wore a shirt that said, "I fucked the
girl in Hanson."
I fucked the girl in Hanson.
Yeah,
which is funny because they're three boys, young, underage, and
blonde,
now
look like girls.
Oh sure, from the back, who can tell?
That's right.
oh, Billy. Yeah, you know what? You got to learn someday.
Yeah, well,
learn your boundaries.
So yeah, if you're listening and you like that idea of a shirt, go over to badluckdesigns.net and tell them that you're a listener to the Barstool Preacher or Luck of the Draw Radio, and you get a pretty good discount. Actually, it's $5 or more off. So Chris is willing to do that for our listeners. So yeah, Bad Luck Designs. They're also at buddyno1.etsy.com. But I think you can go to badluckdesigns.net, and then that'll get you right in there too. They got a bunch of cool shirts, girls shirts. The wife just got a shirt that has a big picture of glowing Jesus, and it says Jesus loves me and my tattoos, or loves my tattoos. So
actually, you were wearing a sweatshirt the gig we just played at the Doll Hut that I was quite envious of.
And you can have one as well.
Really? How can I do that?
Go to realpunkradio.com and listen to the radio station, and then there's a store there where you can purchase yourself some nice hoodies and t-shirts, and I think they got girly tees and stuff like that as well. So, but yeah, Real Punk Radio, that's another supporter of Luck of the Draw Radio. So, good people, good times.
Good times.
And what else? We have Flat Black Industries. You're well vested in that.
Ah, indeed I am.
I have a couple of Flat Black Industry shirts. You're not like Richie and you didn't leave it in New York.
Okay, so what the story is, I was really hungover, and for some reason I put my shirt from the night before into the drawer.
Yeah, he put it into a dresser in a hotel room.
Maybe that's his move, when he comes home drunk. He puts his clothes in the dresser, crawls in the bed, and forgets about it.
Apparently. So now there's somebody walking around New York, some house cleaner or a room cleaner
with a damn cool shirt.
Yeah, walking around with a nice Flat Black Industries t-shirt.
It's funny. I did that with Uncle Tiki. You always buy in the old days, you'd buy, the small, medium, large, and you'd have to buy 20 of each, and you're never sure if you could sell all 20, but you'd always sell all 20 of the large and extra large. You'd always have the other ones. And I ended up giving some of the smalls and mediums away, to the Goodwill. And so I'm always kind of anxious to see some bum walking around with the Uncle Tiki shirt. It'll be awesome.
I had a job in a machine shop one time, and I was the new guy walking around, and this dude, little Mexican kid, comes walking up, and he's got a Anthrax Fistful of Metal t-shirt. And I'm like, yeah, dude, fucking Anthrax rocks. Right on. What's your name? And he looks at me and he goes, Kay? Never mind.
You don't know no Anthrax.
And then I thought, yeah, you just bought that shirt for $25 at the Salvation Army.
Yeah. That's funny. Cool. So who else is our friend in arms?
What we got? Bad Luck Designs, Flat Black Industries, and Real Punk Radio. That's about all the friends I have.
And fuck the rest of you. If you don't know, you don't get to know.
And if you want to be Luck of the Draw Radio Listener of the Week, what do you got to do, Stan?
What do you got to do?
Yeah.
You got to snort a line off my cock.
I will never be Listener of the Week then.
I have high hopes for Hot Carl.
Well, Hot Carl might do it.
From what I hear, he's one of those Fresno guys, isn't he?
He just might be.
Those guys are down for anything.
The old San Joaquin Valley folks.
Booyah.
Oh, yeah. No, I think to be Listener of the Week, you shouldn't have to do coke off of your cock.
Well, that's what you think. We'll just agree to disagree on this one, I guess.
I think if they want to be Luck of the Draw Radio's Listener of the Week, they should just call in with their suggestions. And is next week's show going to be the 4 and 7 show or what?
Yeah, I say that's because I really like that idea. 4 and 7 show. Mine is already pretty much. I'm going with the X Idols because both
Eddie
of those,
Cochran. Oh
no,
wait, no,
the X Idols.
No, I was just trying to rub it in that I snuck one in on you.
I know you got me good. Let's see. How about I don't know. I got nothing.
We're doing the 4 and 7 show.
Say something interesting, or how about give us your opinions?
Give us a call with your fourth track that you think is phenomenal, whatever record it is, or your seventh track,
right?
Or give us your opinion on how you listen to music. If you think that you don't listen, well, shit. Nowadays with all the downloads, it's so hard
it's tough. You're right.
But I don't know if you're old like us and you used to listen to. I mean, shit. I remember my favorite song on side 2 is
"It Hurts When I Pee."
That was my favorite song on side 1.
Oh yeah, I could drop the needle exactly where I like the songs. Skip the
that was
first
the one
two.
thing I love. I got tons of like colored vinyl and splattered vinyl and things like that. But that is the one thing that really irritates me when it's like a clear colored or splattered vinyl is that I can't find the gaps. It's so hard to. But on a black vinyl or like a darker color, absolutely you can find it. But nope, not on the new on the fandangled. There we go. I've been waiting for that all night.
I've been waiting for the right one, and that one felt right. It was tickling my balls.
Wow.
Yeah, it was low.
Came from down low.
The depths.
Okay, well, if you want to be the Luck of the Draw Listener of the Week and get your ribbon, all you got to do is call us over there at, I don't have the number in front of me. What is it?
I do.
530?
What's it worth? It's 618-528-47 or, bugs.
What are you doing?
So 6182 bugs?
No, 530-618-BUGS.
Oh, because bugs is 4 letters.
Yeah, 2847 spells out bugs on the old push button phones.
Bugs.
530-618-BUGS. And you can email us over there at wewantbeer@gmail.com.
And I get it, 618. No, I was thinking 681. That doesn't work.
618.
Yeah.
530-618-BUGS. 530-618-2847.
No, I'm remembering. I'm getting the joke wrong. Why does 7 like 9? Well, why does 7 is scared of 9? Because 7, 8, 9.
Huh.
This is the part of the show when we sign off.
What's the other numbers joke? What's the speed of sex?
I don't know.
68. Because at 69 you eat it.
That's funny.
No, it isn't. It was funny when I was in the 3rd grade. And I didn't know what a boner was,
Because you didn't have an uncle. Pointing out the obvious.
I didn't get coke off of an uncle's.
No Gladiator movies for you, and no.
Never saw a grown man naked.
That's good film.
Yeah, definitely. And if you want to mail us a bottle of moonshine, whiskey, pornos, whatever you got, P.O. Box 816, Lake Hughes, California 93532. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Good thing to throw.
Yes. Well, Stan.
Yes, Bugs.
It's been a blast. You know what? I just had when I went and grabbed that last beer when that song was playing.
Yeah.
Had a funny little moment in the house.
Oh,
Rob's out watching the Super Bowl. I guess it's on right now.
Uh-huh.
So I'm walking through and I'm going, well, I might as well pretend like I care. My Is your team winning? And he's like, yep, yeah, they're winning. And I'm like, oh, right on. Well, that's cool. What is it? And he's like, 10-3 or something.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Well, it'll be over by the time.
Oh, yeah.
And then he goes, I'm like, what quarter is it? And it was like 4 seconds to halftime. And he's like, it's almost halftime. And I'm like, who's playing halftime? And the wife goes, yeah. And I go, no, I mean, who is playing halftime? And she's like, yeah, who is playing halftime?
Oh, very funny. Who?
Long story short here, the Who is playing at the halftime. And I had no idea. And I had the whole Who's on First moment there. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Because they're both laughing at me. Yeah, who's playing halftime? And I'm like, no, like, they have musical. Like, is it like Bruce Springsteen? Who's doing it? And they're like, who? I'm like, that's what I'm asking.
Funny. Who's playing it? What?
And they're like, you're right. Who is? Like, I don't fucking know. I'm asking you. And yeah, so we had a little Who's on First moment there. It was kind of funny.
Hibbard!
Oh, horrible. Oh, that was a pretty good impression, though.
Oh, thanks.
All right,
it doesn't come around often, but when I can, I try to muscle it in. Hibbard! Okay.
Yeah, one was enough.
Yeah, one was good. You need to know when to walk.
You need to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run.
And I just spilt my beer and pissed on the guy next to me on that last one. Sorry.
You got a guy next to you?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where we're going with this.
His name's Carl. He's hot.
Oh, you got Carl. No, he's listener of the week.
The listener of the week. That's if you too want to be a listener of the week, you can sit right next to either Bugs or I for a broadcast.
We could do that. That could be a giveaway.
Sniff coke off our erect penises.
Or they could even call in on Skype. Can we record a call in?
Skype. We haven't tried that yet.
We got to try that. I just got one of them smartphone dealy whoppers, and I downloaded Skype for my phone. So now I don't use any of my minutes. I can call strictly on Skype.
Wow.
I could have done this show on Skype, but then I couldn't. I could email you the songs because I could put it in my iTunes.
Yep.
Wow, I could do the whole show from my phone.
You do the show like from the Rock or something. That'd be funny. That'd
be fun. Well, I'm not going anywhere near a bar today. Just a bunch of yahoos and sports jerseys going, fuck yeah, sports. I want no part of that.
Who dat? Who dat? All right. Let's call this what it is.
All right. It's a show. We want beer at gmail.com. 530-618-2847. Be the listener of the week. We'll talk to you. I suppose next show is going to be the 4 and 7. So if you've got a record that has the 4th track as your favorite track or the 7th track as your favorite track, let us know what you listen to and what you think it is.
And if we agree with you, you too can be listener of the week.
You might be the listener of the week, and you might be able to do coke off of Stan's penis.
Mm-hmm. Just ask Carl. It's fun, right?
You're not supposed to snort it?
Say goodnight, Bugs.
Good night, Bugs.
Luck of the Draw Radio is out.
If you got any comments, insults, requests, you can call them at 530-618-2847 or email them at wewantbeer@gmail.com.